So you're renting a car, you're on vacation, on a business trip, and your car might cost, 30, 40, $50 a day, whatever it is, even $70 a day. And when you're at the rental counter or when you're placing your reservation online, it says you can get extra insurance for $20 or $25 a day. I don't want the insurance. That's almost as much as the car. Well, let's take a look at that for a minute. The insurance we're talking about is what's called collision damage waiver, or CDW. There's other types of insurances too, which are, you know, injury insurance or extra kind of medical insurance. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about collision damage waiver. What that means is if you crash the car or the car's damaged, you're not liable. It's a waiver. They're waiving their rights to collect from you damages. And you might say, well, I already have car insurance and it covers rent-a-cars. Well, it probably does. However, there's a lot of exceptions to that. And we're going to talk about why it might be a good idea for most renters to get collision damage waiver. Number one of the biggest costs if a vehicle is damaged while you're driving it, even if you get a cracked windshield, you're driving, a rock hits the windshield, and they have to replace the windshield. Your car insurance might not cover that or might have a deductible, so you have to pay it. So if you have a deductible on your regular car insurance, that deductible applies to your rental. The second thing is the rental car company is going to charge you for what's called loss of use, meaning that while that car is off the road getting the windshield fixed or the fender fixed, whatever they would have rented it for those days, they are going to charge you for. So if that car rents for $40 a day, it's off the road for 10 days, that's $400 they're going to charge you on top of the cost of the repair. Your insurance might not cover that. Some insurance companies that cover rental cars don't cover loss of use, loss of rental income. Sometimes the vehicle will have also a diminished value. If you crashed a fender or if you have some kind of physical damage, collision damage, now that vehicle has a Carfax history. So when the rent-a-car company sells it, they'll have to sell it for less money because people are going to look up the Carfax and see that it has collision damage and maybe the value's lower. Some insurance companies don't cover that, which means the rent-a-car company is going to charge you for that. So what's the last reason? The last reason is you're driving an unknown car to you. It's not your everyday car. The buttons are in different places. The cruise control's in a different place. The radio buttons are in a different place. You're still getting used to it for 4 days, 5 days. And you're probably driving in a place other than where you normally drive. It's not your home market where you know all the streets, the exits, the on-ramps. And you're probably focused on something else, your vacation, your business trip. So you have 3 distractions: different car, different roads, different environment of life. You're more likely to have things happen that could, cause you to have an impact or damage the car. So how much are we talking about? Well, even if that collision damage waiver is $25 and you're renting it for 4 days, that costs you an extra $100. $100. And sure, nobody wants to throw away $100, but think of the liability risk that you're off-putting for $100 by purchasing that. Look, I'm in the insurance business. I sell insurance all day long. I know what insurance is like. Every time I get a rent-a-car, I always buy the collision damage waiver. Every time. Fortunately, it's never had to be an issue that comes back to me. But on the other hand, think about this. What if there's some damage on the vehicle that was already there that you missed? Maybe there was a scraped wheel that you didn't see when you did your walk around. Maybe there was a couple of door dings. Maybe there was some hail damage on the roof that you didn't notice. Maybe there was a small chip in the windshield that you didn't notice. Now you don't have to worry about going back and say, that was already there, this didn't happen while I had it. You just go back, you drop off the keys. It doesn't matter what the damage is, you're off the hook. You don't have to worry about it, right? Again, I'm not trying to say that you should throw away $100, but think of how many times you rent a car. Even if you rent a car 2 or 3, 4 times a year, it's worth a few $100s to take that liability, that risk, that peace of mind off your back, so you don't have to worry about it. Just one person's opinion. think about it when you're renting a car. Most of the time, it'll never come back to haunt you. But even if you rent a car 2 or 3 times a year, every year for 5 years, and you have one damage that costs $3,000 out of your pocket because of the deductible, the loss of use, diminished value, it pays for itself. So do the math, think about the liability. Don't compare the collision damage waiver with the cost of the rental. That's not a fair comparison. You're comparing it to what your liability is. Let me know in the comments what you think and if that's a valid opinion or not.